Okay. Okay. So we are doing the third type of sentence, how something changed over a period of time. For example, from January to March. In January, it was 400, but in March, the line is around 800. So how it changed. So that's the line we are covering. So it's not a comparison with something else. It's a comparison between the line itself over a period of time. So third sentence to describe a change over a period of time. So there are three ways to make a sentence here. The first way is, I call it the verb-adverb combination. So for example, my sentence starts with inquiries in person, made in person. That's my subject. After that, I write the verb. The verb is increased. For example, you look at it. The red line is inquiries in person. It increased. And how did it increase? You can write an adverb. Like if it was a big increase or a small increase, you can write like that. That's the adverb. So for example, here I called it a significant increase because it nearly doubled in the 2 months from 400 to 800. It doubled in the 2 months. So for that, I used the word significantly. So then I wrote the values from 400 in January to nearly 800 in March. So it started at 400 and then it ended at nearly 800 in March. So that's my first sentence. I want to teach you something here. I call it the verb-adverb combination. Why? Because here first we are writing the verb, then we are writing the adverb. What is the verb and adverb? Let me clarify that so that it is not confusing anymore. Verb is the action, right? For example, I play or I teach or anything like I study or I play the piano, like that. So, and adverb is a word which qualifies the verb. For example, it tells how the verb is. For example, if I say I play well, so that would tell me that what's my playing style? I'm playing well. So adverb is nothing but a word that qualifies the verb. So I play well. Well is the adverb. Play is the verb. So in English, there is a rule that the adverb comes after the verb. Adverb comes after the verb. So that's why we have this sentence. So first we have the verb increased, then we have the adverb significantly. So I hope it's clear. Here, why am I teaching you this word like that? Because a lot of students make a mistake here, a big mistake. They write significantly before increased. And although that might sound correct, it's not correct. So it would be a wrong sentence. Inquiries in person significantly increased. Wrong. It should be increased significantly. So that's why, because the verb has to come before the adverb. That's the rule in English. I hope this sentence is clear. Otherwise, it's a very simple sentence. You take the thing, the subject, and you write increased or decreased or remain the same or fluctuated, whatever you face, whatever is happening, and then you write the adverb. Is this sentence clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll go to the second one. I'll be quick and then we can have doubts after I've explained all the third one. Three sentences, the three ways. The second one is the adjective noun. Adjective noun it's different because here it's coming before the noun. The increase comes after significant. So the sentence will be there was a significant increase in inquiries in person from 400 in January to nearly 800 in March. So here, what's the difference? First, you write the adjective, then you're writing the noun. So for example, if you like, he's a good person. Good is a word. What is an adjective? Let's go slowly. Adjective is a word that qualifies a noun. So for example, person is a noun. What is good? He's what type of a person? Good. Good is the adjective. And in English, there is a rule that the adjective comes before the noun. So here we are using the noun form of increase. So it's going to be there was a significant increase in inquiries in person. So please notice the difference. In this case, significantly comes after increased, but in this case, significant comes before increased. That's the difference in both of them. Is it clear? There was a significant increase in inquiries in person from 400 in January to nearly 800 in March. That is the way you make this sentence. Okay. Next, finally, passive. Passive is something like, we have done this. So here I write an object. Object is a significant increase, whatever type of increase or fluctuation or decrease, whatever I saw was noticed because it is passed in inquiries from 400 in January to nearly 800 in March. So that's the three ways I make the change over time sentence. How this thing changed over time. I make the sentence three ways. First way, second way, third way. So I hope it's clear. If you have doubts, please let me know. Now I've covered the three type of sentences.
So could you please repeat the third one?
Third one is simple. You first write whatever happened. Okay, for example, what happened? A significant increase. Then what did you do? Was noticed. So a significant increase was noticed in what? In inquiries in person. Okay, I forgot here. Inquiries in person from 400 in January to nearly 800 in that. So first you're writing the object. Then you're writing is or whatever you're writing, it's past, so it's was. Then verb third form, noticed. In what? In inquiries in person. So significant increase was noticed in what thing? In inquiries in person from 400 to nearly 800. So that's the way you make this sentence. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have one doubt also that we have to write these figures exactly like this.
What do you mean by that?
Sir, just like 400 in January to nearly 800 in March, we
Yes.
have to write down this figure samely in our graphs.
Now, whatever the graph values will be, in this case, it's 400 to 800. In some other case, it will be different. So you'll write those values, whatever, the same way. You're going to write the values the same way, but the values will change, of course. The
Okay.
month will change, the period will change. For example, in January, you'll write the year given there. For example, it's 1990 to 2000 in that case. So it will be like that. It will depend upon your graph. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Okay. Anyone else has a doubt? The values will depend upon the graph. I hope that's clear. This is the verb adverb combination. You now know verb comes before the adverb. Please make sure you write it like that. Otherwise, it will be grammatically wrong. In the noun, adjective noun case, the adjective comes before the noun. And this is the passive way. So you can write anything. For notice,
Good morning, sir.
good morning.
Sir, actually, I have seen like there are a number of ways, and it's very interesting the method you are teaching with. My question is like first way, second way, third way. So I can choose any one. I can mastery over the one sentence structure and go ahead, right?
You can do
Or
that.
I should.
But variety is always nice. But I would not say don't. Alka, it's a very good question. So let me answer this. Once I master one sentence, I go for the variety. But variety will always be better because all your sentences will end up looking the same if you don't go for a variety. So it always helps. So what do? I keep the main sentence for me is the verb adverb one. This is the one I'm most comfortable using. And it's it's the easiest to use. So I normally repeat this sentence, but then I use adjective noun once and I'll use the passive form once just to show that I have a variety. And total, you're going to write how many sentences? Maximum in a graph, you end up writing around 10 to 12 sentences total in the graph. So one sentence, I'll write the adjective noun one will be the passive one. Then there's the introduction, then there's overall. So ultimately you repeat this, but it doesn't seem like a repetition just because you have mentioned the second and the third ones. But the major one that I use is the first one. Does that answer? Like I will go with the first one, but then I'll also use second and third ones in the graph.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, this class is really, really amazing. Thank you. You are just clearing, the basics. This is the, I would say, fundamental.
I hope it
Thank you.
clarifies. Okay, so now I'll also do the variations for the verb adverb one. For example, in that, so you don't want to end up repeating, like you don't want to write everything from 400 in January to nearly. So there are alternate ways to do it. The main sentence remains the same. See, till inquiries made in person increase significantly, it will remain the same. But after that, you can make certain changes. For example, instead of writing 400 in Jan, You can write directly from 400 to 800 between January and March. So you can have varieties in that form so that you don't end up looking like this, making like the same sentence. Another one that I make is the sentence with the by. Now, in case of by, you tell the difference. For example, 800 minus 400 is 400. Let's imagine it was 1000. The difference would be what? 1000 minus 400, 600. So you can make the sentence by using by, and by you end up writing the difference. For example, if it was 400 and 1000, you would have written the sentence like that. 400 inquiries were made in person in January. Over the first 2 months, inquiries made in person increased by approximately 600. So here you're writing the word by and you're telling me the difference. So that ends up happening. So that's another way to write the same sentence. But I do all the changes in the verb-adverb combination. I don't mess with the adjective noun or the passive form because they're already very complex and I don't want to play around with them. And I told you I use them only once. So I don't mess around with them. I make the changes in the verb-adverb combination. Another one that I would write is the same one using while. Now, while is something that I do differently. Here, what do I do? I'll just write a sentence. Inquiries made in person increased over the first 2 months. I'll not give any data. I'll just write this. Then I'll give a data with while. I'll say in the first year, it was this. And in the last year, it was this. For example, inquiries made in person increased over the first 2 months, right? They increased. I'll make a simple sentences. Inquiries made in increased. In the first month, it was 400, while in the March month, it was 800. So that's another way I do it. While their figure was around 400 in Jan, it stood at 800 in March. So that's another way I make this same sentence. So you don't end up repeating. Then students also use reached. 400 inquiries were made in person in January. Inquiries made in person increased and reached 800 in March. So that's another way to do it. How many made 400? Then they increased and they reached 800 in March. So that's another way to do it. Then this one, I will tell you to do it because here you're using a different type of tense. You're using the past perfect tense. But you have to be clear how to use this. So the number of inquiries made in person was around 400 in January. The first sentence comes naturally that you have done. The first sentence. You have to write before the final year, you have to write by March or whatever period. If the second year is 1990, you'll write by 1990. The number had increased to 400. So in this case, instead of writing increased, you're going to write had increased. So I will tell you that this will fetch you good bands because normally students don't write had increased or anything like that. So this will end up fetching you better bands. Had increased. Okay. Then the last method that I do, and again, it depends upon the graph. But for example, in the first month, it was 400. In the second month, it was 800. So I can see it's nearly doubled. So I'll write 400 to 800 doubled. Instead of writing 800, I'll just say they doubled in number over the next 2 months. So that's another way that I do it. But again, it should fit 400 to 800. It should not be 400 and 600 and you're writing doubled. It should actually double in number. So if you're good at maths, and if you're good at math and you can look at it happening, then you can do it. I do it for doubled. I do it for tripled, for quadrupled also, and for halved also. I do that. If anything makes sense. So that's the type of sentences that I make here. I've told you all the variations that I make. I might have forgotten some, but that's all that I can remember and I put it down so that I don't look like I'm making repetitions if you want. So,
Quadruple.
quadruple means 4 times.
4 times. Okay, sir.
Okay, 4 times. Triple 3 times, quadruple 4 times, double 2 times, halved became half. Okay. Anyone has a doubt? Otherwise, I'm done and we are on practice session now. If you're clear, if you're not clear, please let me know. If anything is a problem.
Sir, by is not clear.
By is not clear. Okay. I'll clarify by. For example, in the first month, it's 400. And in the second period, it's 1000. So here you're going to calculate the difference. The difference is how much? 1000 minus 400. It's going to be 600. So you're going to end up writing the inquiries increased by 600. Instead of writing 2000, for example, normally I write inquiries increased significantly 2,000. Instead of writing that, I end up writing inquiries increased significantly by 600. So that's the difference. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Should I come to the practice session? I'm going to make you make sentences. If you're not clear, please ask now. Okay. We are coming to the practice session then. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. So you're going to tell me about this this thing about, sorry, I forgot. Which ones did I make? Phone. Okay. So we are going to talk about the phone. So what's the value for the phone in the first year?
30%.
And yes, and the second year?
30%.
And the second year?
It's
14%.
Okay. So we are going to make all the three types of sentences one. First, verb adverb, noun adjective, and passive. So let's see if you can make the verb adverb first. First of all, tell me, what is the graph telling? This is not exactly phone. What is it? Can you read the question and tell me what is 30% actually?
time spent on
Time spent on phone. In which year?
1980.
Okay. So first I write that. So the time spent on phone. Okay, done. Good. So now tell me what happened to it. Did it increase or decrease?
Half.
You can write half, but we'll do the simple ones now. We'll come to half also. Firstly, tell me
Decreased.
decreased. Good. And do you think it's a big decrease or a small decrease?
Big.
Big, because it's nearly half.
Significantly.
Yes, significantly. Can someone tell me another word for significantly?
Drastically.
Substantially.
Substantially is a good word, so I'll go with substantially. I like that word a lot. Substantially, and it's not common. Substantially. Substantially also means by a large amount. So time spent on phone decreased substantially from how much?
1980 to 2000. 2000.
From value also. Tell me value also.
From 30% to 30% in 1980 to
14% in 2000.
Okay, perfect. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
This is which one? Verb adverb. Are you clear? You put the verb here, then you're putting the adverb. Okay, next. So I think I made the same one. Time spent on phone decreased significantly from 30% to 14%. I hope that's clear. Okay, now you make the second one, adjective noun. Now I would not help at all. You're going to make the same sentence in adjective noun form.
There was
Okay, perfect.
There was a
Substantial decrease. Substantial decrease.
substance decrease
Okay.
from 30
Time spent.
On time spent on phone from 30% in 1980 to 14% in 2000.
Okay, good. I hope it's clear.
Sir, can you please
Yes.
take me back where you explained adjective noun? Can you please explain one more time?
Okay. So adjective is a word that describes a noun. So for example, if I'm writing, he's a nice person. So here, nice is an adjective because it's describing the person. It's describing the person. The person is nice. Now let me show you another sentence. He sings well. Now here, well is not describing him. Well is describing his singing. That's his action. So well is an adverb. So learn the difference between adjective and adverb first. Adjective is a word that describes a noun. So it's describing the person. Person is a noun. Then we have, sorry, this disturbance. Okay. Then we have adverb. Adverb is a verb that describes a verb. So well is describing his verb, that singing. So adverb comes after the verb. So now look at the first sentence. I said time spent on phone, then I put the verb. Verb is what happened to the time spent on phone? It decreased. How did the decrease happen? The decrease was substantially. So then I put the adverb. The time spent on phone, it's in place of he. Sings in place of sings, I put decreased. And in place of well, I put substantially because it was a substantial decrease from 30% to 14%. Is verb adverb clear? Alka?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at noun. So in the noun case, I'm not using noun. I'm not going to take the decreased. I'm going to take the noun form of decreased. The noun form of decreased is decrease. Okay. Now, what kind of adjective will come for this noun? Substantial. Because how was the decrease? The decrease was substantial. So how do I start the sentence? First, I write there was a. Then I'll write the noun. The noun is decrease. And before that, I'll write the adjective. Adjective for the noun will depend. For example, if it's a large decrease, it will be substantial. If it's a small decrease, I can write minor, slight, words like that. You'll write. It depends on the graph. And where
And substantial is big change?
big change, yes. It's another word for
Okay.
big. I'll cover the adjectives and the adverb for big and small at the end. So substantial, decrease in what? Then you write in the thing, in what? In time spent on phone. And from values, then you write, then you just copy paste from 30% in 1980 to 14% in 2000. Is it clear now? I can go back also. If it's clear, I can go ahead.
And this is fine, sir.
Okay. Anyone else has a doubt? I know this is difficult. Okay.
So the adjective noun, it starts with there was, right?
Yes, yes.
There
in
was.
this case, in
Okay.
this case, yes. Yes, Meghna?
सर यहाँ पे जैसे हमारा वर्ब एंड वर्ब कॉम्बिनेशन है, अब
हम्म।
वहां पे तो हम इजीली हमारे पास सब्जेक्ट वर्ब और ऑब्जेक्ट यूज करके हम बना लेते हैं, बट अगर हमें ड्यूरिंग एग्जाम डिफिकल्टी हुई, यहाँ पे जैसे था हमारा वर्ब एंड वर्ब कॉम्बिनेशन इंक्वायरीज मेड इन पर्सन, तो क्या ये हम इजीली आइडेंटिफाई कर पाएंगे वर्ब एंड वर्ब वाला कॉम्बिनेशन?
See, verb क्या होगा? Verb will be the increase, decrease. So that you know, right? Increase,
Yes, sir.
decrease, तो you will know. उसके आगे
Yes, sir.
ज्यादा हुआ कम वो भी पता चल जाएगा. Verb का adverb
जी
भी पता
सर.
चल जाएगा. ये तो पता चल ही जाएगा कि क्या चीज की बात हो रही है. For example, this will be the main thing. What is this? You look at the question. Time spent on various activities. The various activities are given here. So time spent on phone. That's it. So it'll be very easy. I'll show you another graph also. You'll be easily able to pick up. For example, here you can say inquiries to tourist information office. Which inquiries? Inquiries in person. The green line inquiries by email. The blue line inquiries by telephone. So once you read, you'll become clear really easily. And once you do more graphs, you will not face this problem. You'll become confident.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other doubts, anyone? Okay. So the last sentence, let's make. So first of all, tell me what was noticed. That's what we are going to write. So what
increase or decrease.
Substantial decrease.
Yes, a substantial decrease. So we'll write that substantial decrease. Then we can write was noticed, seen, witnessed. You can write any word which means देखा गया था. A substantial decrease was witnessed in what? And you'll write that. For example,
In time spent on.
Time spent on phone.
and then you can write from 30% in 1980 to 14% in 2000. So that's the way you do it. So these are the three sentences. Are they clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we write in place of seen or witness observed?
Yes, observed is also another good word. Whatever means dekha jana na, seeing, you can use anyone. Third form, but not the first form or the second form, third form. This is passive. Passive was, after was, there is the third form. So put the third form, you can use anything. Can you tell me another word for witnessed, was seen, was observed, was noticed, was...
Sir, we can say experience.
Yes, experienced also. That makes sense here. So any word like that, you can put your wish. All makes sense. Okay, so if you can check, what did I mean? A significant decrease was noticed in the time spent on phone from 30% to 14% between the 2 years. So I made it like that. I can change this, right? From to, I change it from 30% to 14% between the 2 years. So minor change here. Okay. Now let's do the from to combination. Can you tell me another sentence from the from to combination? Okay, you know that from to I'm not going to do. By. Now make the same sentence by. So in the first year, how much is it?
30%.
30%.
And then it decreased by?
16%.
Okay. So now I want to tell you a thing. Don't make the examiner do mathematics. So do this, use the by when the calculations are pretty easy. For example, here it's 20%. Here it's how much?
10%.
What's the difference?
10.
10. Now 10 is an easy figure. So do mathematics only when the figures are easy. Otherwise, don't do mathematics. Otherwise, don't do by. Don't do by and write an odd figure like 16%. You should have used by if the figure was 10% or 15%. So use it when or by 1%. It decreased by 1%. Now that's a good sentence. It decreased by 2%. It's a good sentence. Decreased by 6.5%. A bad sentence. Why do you want someone to do calculations by 6.5%? So only use by when the maths is easy. Otherwise, don't use by. Is that clear?
Sir,
Yes.
so here we, in this case, we can use that it decreased nearly half.
We can. We will. I have that sentence. We'll cover that up. Double, triple, halved. And I'll show you. Okay. It more than halved. I don't need to put had. Okay. I have used it. So once we come to the halved one, I would have made you make that sentence. Okay. I can't make edits. Okay, now it's done. It more than halved in the next 20 years. So that's what I wrote. Okay. We can. Let's go next. Tell me the sentence with by. So by, how would you use? So first you'll give the data. In the first year, it was, the time spent was,
30%.
Spent on phone.
and it decreased. Yes, we'll make that change. It decreased
Nearly 3%.
by 16%. Okay. When did that decrease happen? Over the next
2 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Okay. So the first year is 1980. The second year is 2000. So the change happened over the next 20 years. So you have to calculate the difference like that. Okay. I hope this is clear. Let's see what I've written.
Can we write after
The rate
decrease verb?
had increased.
Had, I'll tell you when to use. Okay. We'll come to had. Okay. Someone make me the had one. I'll copy the first part, then you make the had one. If someone was clear when I taught the had one. Okay. Make the had one. Tell me what to do.
By
2000,
next 2000,
it had decreased
it
by
had
16%.
decreased to 15%, 14%.
You don't need to do by again. You can do by with the year and leave the by here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here it's not necessary to put by. In the had sentence, not necessary to put by. Okay. I hope it's clear.
Yes.
So this one is not clear.
It's simple. When you're writing, just once you write the first one, time spent on phone was 30% in the first year. You wrote that. That's done.
Yes, sir.
When you come to the second sentence, write the year first. Write a by. Then write the year, for example, by 2000. Then you have to write, instead of writing it decreased, you're going to write it had decreased. That's the change you're going to make. And there's a reasoning for it, but I'm not doing the reasoning today because that extends my class. If you want me to cover it, I'll cover it. It had decreased to 14%. That's it. That's nothing else you're going to do. 14%, you know, you are going to do that. You had done that. It had decreased. So whenever you're using by 2000, you can write it had decreased too. You can use the past perfect tense. That's it. Instead of writing decreased, what change you're making? Had. You only do this when you have written by 2000 here. You don't do it in other cases. That's when you can put a had. Otherwise, you can't put a had. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. While one. Did someone remember my while sentence?
Excuse me, sir. I
Yes.
need to ask something about the past perfect. I just want to know that anything happened like before that 2000, like that after 2000, that you had to use simple past, and now by 2000 should come with past perfect?
No.
Because
It's like this. If I wrote over the next 20 years, I would not have written it had. I would have written it decreased. If I had written instead of by 2000, if instead of by 2000, for example, the first one was in 1980. Remember, okay, and I don't want to write it in, wait, I don't like writing it in red. Just hold on. Okay. Okay, I don't know how to change it right now, so I'll go. Yes, we have it here. Okay, so it depends. For writing had, I want you to end up writing by the second year here. So if you want to use by, that's the rule. By 2000, there's a rule for that. I can explain the reasoning, but you cannot write in 2000, or you cannot write over the next 20 years. If you do that, you cannot write it had decreased. It had decreased has to be preceded by 2000 or by the second year. That's what I was telling you.
and this is working. This is working only the time that we have, suppose a year in the past. Means if it's future, if it's present, it's not gonna work. So
No,
it's only working for
you
past.
could have made it would have like that. You can do that. It would have decreased to 14%.
Okay, so this is for future.
Yes. But in that I don't normally make it, because in that I end up making the expected one. We can cover that also. It is expected to decrease, you write like that, because you're not sure. This line is saying it's sure it would have decreased too. But in the future, we don't write that. We say it is expected to decrease, because we are never sure. The data is given, but it can change also. So we make a certain change there. We can cover that in the future tense graphs. But for the past, right? Let's keep it for the past. You cannot use it for the present. That won't work. You cannot write by current year. That won't work. That would be wrong. It has decreased to, instead of by current year, I'll write over the next 20 years. It decreased to. I'll go with the simple past. So I'll only use it with the past year. You're right. You could do it with the future, but that would be wrong on one level. That would mean surety. And I don't want to show surety. I want to show an expectation.
Because generally in the graph, we see that it is an expectation. So, so we can't write it would have past participle, because that will be future in past, and that should be like 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
so
I got.
Okay, so for now, we'll just use it. Your logic will say we'll only use it with the past years. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So is it clear now? By had for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. While one. So someone remembers the while sentence? It's actually two sentences. How do we do it?
The time spent on phone was 30% in 1980, while the time spent on other thing, पता नहीं कौन सी.
Well,
It's only going to be on phone. Otherwise, it's a different sentence. Was
Was only 14% in 2000.
But you have to write one more sentence before this. Which sentence?
In 1980.
No, you have to write one more sentence before this.
Decrease 30
Here,
to 40.
here was a time spent on
We'll make yours. There was a decrease in
time spent
on
While
on what?
now. So that's the complete way. Here you make a separate sentence for decrease, and after the decrease you give the data like that. In 1980 it was 30%, while the time spent on phone was while the time spent in 2000 was on phone has while it was, I'll just make it was, otherwise it's looking odd. So like that. Is it clear? Here also, instead of writing time spent, you can write it. Pronouns, use pronouns. If you want another variety, you can write the figure was. In 1980, the figure was 30%, while it was only 14% in 2000. Is it clear?
So can we write time spent on phone
Yes.
decreased in 1980?
It didn't decrease in 1980, right? What that would mean, what the decrease had already happened in 1980. But if you look here, in 1980, what's the figure?
30%.
When did it actually decrease? Tell me.
2000 in 2000.
Between 1980 and 2000, right? Over these 20 years. So you cannot write in 1980. You'll just write the time spent on phone. You'll just write one sentence. There was a decrease in time spent on phone over the 20 years. You can write that if you want, over the 20 years. And then you give the data. In 1980, the figure was 30%, while it was only 14% in 2000. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. It's much better.
Sir,
Yes.
in place of was, we can write stood at.
Yes.
The
you
figure
can write this was, but not this was.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was, yes. Not in the there was. You cannot write there stood a decrease. No, that cannot be done. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Then reached. Time spent on phone was 30%. And what will you do in first year? Then it decreased and reached 14% in 2000. So that's another way for reached. That's how you do it. And half we already looked at. You can say again, you write copy paste this one. And then you can write it halved. Instead of writing decreased, you're going to write halved. Do not write both the words. Halved means it became half. Decreased already included in the word halved. It halved. And then don't give a value also. Halved also has decreased. Halved is a better thing because it already has decreased and it also has the value. So when you write half, you know it became around 50%. It nearly halved because it became more than half. It more than half over the next 20 years. So that's right, that way. Is it clear?
Can we write after with, after comma and with it with figure?
When?
It more than half, comma with 14%.
No, that won't work because you're giving one thing only. You're repeating the thing. So you told half. Half means how much? 30% to
15%.
15%. So then why do you have to give with 14%? That would not end up making sense. Half already has the data included. Half may data. You are not going to write the data.
Okay, sir.
What
I
is
get
the
it.
meaning of
If
more
you
than
want to write, you're going to use the word to. It half to 14%. It more than half to 14% over the next 20 years. If you have to give the data, you're going to give the value to. Word to. Okay. Doubt? Ask.
सर यहाँ पे बट मोर देन का कंसेप्ट समझ नहीं आया
30% का हाफ कितना होता है?
15
So 15 15 के 15 से भी और ज्यादा गिर गया. Actual
15
value कितनी है? 14, right? हाफ होता तो कितना होना चाहिए था? 15.
15
15 से भी ज्यादा गिर गया तो मोर क्या हो गया? मोर देन हाफ. हाफ से भी ज्यादा गिर गया. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, but sir, we use more than before noun. How could you use more than before verb?
No, it's more than is not an adverb here. It's not describing my half. It's just a value. It more than halved. Like I'm just making a comparison. More than halved. So half se zyada gir gaya. So it's not an adverb here.
So what is the verb in second?
Halved. Halved is the verb. That is why it is followed by ed, right? Halved. It's
Yeah.
not half. It's halved. That's the verb. Doubled,
Okay, sir.
tripled, quadrupled. These will all be.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, what will be the sentence if the it will not be 14%, but like 17 or 18%?
And I would not make this sentence. You only make it when the data allows you, gives this you. So you don't force sentences. Why would you make a sentence when it is not half? You won't. When it's near about half, then only you'll make this sentence.
Like we have written more than halved. What if the percentage would be 16%?
Okay. I would just write it nearly halved.
Okay.
It nearly halved. Okay. And you want to say, okay, none of you will ask why nearly here. Nearly is okay. Tell me, okay. Nearly halved. Why is it nearly before halved? I'll ask. I got your doubt here. So let me ask this doubt to ma'am. But it should be nearly halved. Okay. There might be exceptions to that rule. So maybe I'll ask ma'am about that. Okay. She had a doubt why nearly is coming before halved. Because the adverb comes after the verb. But here it's going to come before halved. I don't think it's an adverb, but it is an adverb. It's describing your half. It nearly halved. So let me talk to ma'am about this. Okay. Any other doubts? Tell me.
But sir, I think more than is not suitable for writing before half because half is a verb of the sentence, and after more than we need to use. If you want to write it has more than half. I can feel that it's correct, but I don't know. I feel like that is wrong. I feel like that the structure is a bit like strange for me. That's why I'm asking you.
Let me look at it and I'll get back to you there.
Okay.
I'll get back to you. I'll get your doubt. It's a problem sentence. I'll look at it hard.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Sir, can you please just explain that why did you in while part? Why did you write that sentence? Why you said that we need to write that sentence and then we go for the complex sentence with while?
Okay. So because I want, okay, when I write, I have a theme to my paragraph. I want to emphasize that this value decreased. If you don't write the decrease thing, the examiner will not pay attention to that it's decreasing. He'll just think, okay, it's more than half. But I want him to focus on this, that it decreased. Because I write paragraphs based on themes. So like my paragraph will be all about decrease. The whole paragraph, the values will be decreasing. So I want him to pay attention to that. By writing this, I make sure that he pays attention to what I'm trying to say is decreased. For example, if I didn't write this, and next sentence I wrote, similarly, the time spent on like working also decreased. Then this sentence would not be that, it would not make that impact if I didn't write this sentence. I want this sentence to make much impact. I want him to look at that similarity that the first one decreased, the second one is also decreasing. So to emphasize my decrease, I write that. And normally I do that. I do emphasize. Otherwise, it doesn't make the theme.
You mean that you have a core sentence of there is a decrease in time spent on phone over the 20 years, and after that you expanded your sentence by a while structure. Means like they said, like, okay, how it would be the decrease.
Yes.
So like then you expanded and you said the figure stood at this while it was only 14% in
Yes.
2000.
Now he knows
Yeah.
it decreased. Yes. Now he won't, like, he doesn't have to look at the figures exactly. He knows, okay, in the first year the figure is going to be less. The second year it's going to be more in the first year, and second year it's going to be less. So it's just the first sentence says the decrease and the second sentence supports it by giving the data. Because if you read
I
this
got it.
sentence alone, you will not focus on the decrease part. But I want to focus on the decrease part as well.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Divya.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I've been waiting for your feedback on my
I'll give the
essay
feedback.
writing.
I'll give the
Yeah,
feedback.
yeah.
Sorry, I was busy. I'll give the
Oh, that's
feedback
okay.
today.
Yeah, sure. I'll be waiting.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Doubts? Okay. Kritiman, yes.
No. You can go on.
Okay. So we have done the 3 types of sentences now. Do you remember? A simple sentence. The second one is the comparison one. The third one is a change over time. You don't need more than that for writing graphs. Trust me. All the sentences can come here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So
Sir, I'll revise all this, and in case if I feel difficulty, we'll get back to you.
okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to add one thing. If you, I have a shortcut here. I'll teach you. When you want to make a sentence with the maximum minimum, where will you put the maximum? I have a logic here. So can you just tell me, if you want to make a sentence, the time spent on phone was it means maximum. Where would you put the maximum?
In first.
Where?
Maximum in 1980.
Where would you put maximum?
The highest percentage of time spent.
Okay. So now I'll tell you a shortcut. You're going to put the maximum wherever the data is given. So instead of 30%, you're going to write what?
Maximum in 1980.
That's it. You're going to put the maximum wherever you put the data. Just do that. Your sentences will never be wrong. Now you had another passive sentence. You remember the passive sentence? First we'll write what? 30% time was spent on
Phone.
in 1980. Where would you put the maximum?
3%.
Yeah.
Maximum time was spent on phone in 1980.
And the third one was active. Active starts with people. People spent 30% time on phone in 1980. Where would you put the maximum?
In place of 30%.
That's it. So you'll never get your maximum wrong. So if you have variety, the variety helps you here. And Kritiman, this one question is for you. I want to add the data. How would I add the data?
With
Yes, with
maximum time with yeah.
With a
with
figure of 30%.
Figure of 30.
Okay, good. Or another option. At. You can also use at 30%. Okay. Any other option? Does anyone know? Another way to put that? Data.
That was accounted for 30%.
Accounted for, you use it wrong. What
Which-
you accounted for? Which
Which
was?
was
Okay, which was 30% is also correct. Another way. Can someone tell me another way?
Sir, we can say suppose time spent on phone was 30% in 1980, comma, the largest amount or the largest, I mean, like in the
Yeah, it will be
form
too
after,
complicated.
yeah,
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 it's a complicated sentence. Okay,
yeah.
that's right. You can do that too. But another way that I wanted to teach you, these are simple. Another way I would say is just put a bracket and give the data. Don't make it a complex sentence. That's done. 30% bracket. So that's another way. The maximum time was spent on phone in 1980, bracket 30%. Don't do this many times. Do it once in your graph. If you want to use the bracket, use it once. You don't repeat this. So
in the where we can use the bracket or within the data or
you can
within
put
the
the maximum time. You could have put the bracket here, or you could have put the bracket at the end. Wherever time, right? 30% is what the time. So along with the time, you can put 30%, or you can put it at the end. Both are okay.
Okay, sir. I got it.
Okay, so that's it. So that's my class. I'll end it here. Ma'am will start the class again in 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, sir. It is
You're welcome.
really nice.
Okay. I
Thank you,
hope.
sir.
Yeah. Okay.
So please do share the PDF and recording
I have shared the
also, so
PDF,
that
the recording I'll share. The PDF was shared that day only. You can put it the same PDF, right? It had the whole thing.
okay. I believe these things are missing in that.
No, I think I shared the PDF should have everything. I shared everything. If it's missing, I'll share again.
Okay, perfect, sir.
Excuse me,
Thank you.
sir.
Have a
Excuse me,
good
sir.
night, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Just when I said that the structure, you mean that it is not recommended to use this kind of, suppose like reduced relative clause and this kind of complex
No.
structure.
I am saying your English is good. You can make structures like that. But but for a person who, for a person whose education is not an English board, it'll be too complex to make at the beginning. So it doesn't have a template per se. You're making it without a template. So I cannot teach it like that. So it doesn't work always.
Okay, but it is not wrong. Means like
Not wrong.
it's not going to
It's
cause.
not wrong, but it's not wrong. It'll be difficult to make, and it cannot be taught according to a template. So I would not teach it in that way. If your English is good enough, I would not cut it down. It's correct. It's a good sentence to make.
Okay, sir. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Okay. Any other doubts? Yes, Meghna?
सर मैंने ना आपसे एक लास्ट में क्वेश्चन पूछना है। आपने ना कल स्टार्टिंग में हमें बताया था ऑल्टरनेटिव्स टू वॉज स्टूड एट रीच्ड स्टार्टेड एट एंड फिनिश्ड एट। सर जब हम फ्यूचर में यूज करेंगे तो हम उसके साथ विल जो है उसके साथ एड ऑन कर देंगे विल रीच एट विल स्टैंड एट। और जब हम प्रेजेंट में यूज करेंगे तो प्रेजेंट में सर हम उसको कैसे यूज करेंगे?
Stands at.
स्टैंड्स एट यानी कि V1 प्लस S और ES यूज करेंगे।
If the value is singular, then we'll use stands at. If the value is plural, we'll write stand at.
Okay, sir.
Similarly, starts at, singular, plural, start at. Reach at, reaches at.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
It's clear, sir. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay, ma'am is here. I'll ask ma'am. I'll make her the host. Are you here? I'll leave if you're here. Okay, I'll leave. She's here. I'll tell her to come to the class. She'll start in 5 minutes.